Hey guys, Farmer Nick here, and we are out at Denver Green School Northfield doing some planting today. And we're going to talk about intercropping today. So as you can see, I've laid out several rows already. The first rule when we're talking about intercropping is to consider what you had there in the past. Obviously, if we're planting 4 different seeds, we want to make sure that all of those seeds were not in the same family as crops we had in years past there. And so last year we had some squash and gourds here. And so this year we're going to be planting some spinach, some sorrel, kohlrabi, and beets. And we've selected these crops because first of all, they're frost tolerant for the most part, and we're still in spring, and so we don't want to plant things that could potentially die from frost. And so these are all frost tolerant crops, and all of these crops have different features and needs too. Spinach and sorrel are both leafy greens, which are obviously not anything really like squash or gourds like we had in last year. And so these would be appropriate for this bed. They're a little bit lighter on the feeding side of things as opposed to squashes. And so these will be great. And these also require like a decent amount of space in between the plants. And so we can utilize that space between the plants though, especially for things like kohlrabi and beets, which require a decent amount of sunshine. So we have 2 leafy green plants that need to be spaced far apart, and then we have some root crops to help loosen up the soil, channel a lot of water underground. And so those are some kind of general characteristics of these plants that can help you get started for intercropping. And so I've laid out my rows already, and I've marked out the rows in which I'll be planting the leafy greens. So we'll alternate with spinach, sorrel, spinach, and sorrel. And then on either side of the leafy green rows, we're going to go with a beet to again bring some water into the system and diversify the roots beneath the soil. That's proved to really increase infiltration. And so these are all planted at pretty shallow depths, 1/8 to 1/2 inch about. So let's get started. I'm going to plant spinach, 1 row of spinach here, 1 row of spinach here, and we're going to go at 1/2 inch, and we're going to do about 3 seeds every foot or so. Alright, so we have sorrel here, and we're going to be planting sorrel pretty shallowly, only 1/8 inch down. And we'll be doing a group of 3 seeds like the spinach. And sorrel is more of like a leafy green that has a nice lemony kind of flavor that can be used in salads. So this will be really great with some beets and whatnot. Alright, next we have kohlrabi, and this is a vegetable that kind of has apple-like texture and is good in things like salads and slaws. It's also a root crop, so hopefully that diverse root structure will bring in some good benefits to our soil in terms of compaction, aeration, and porosity. Now we have some beets here, and beets are very sweet fruit and go really well in salads. And these need full sun, 6 hours a day at least. And so we're taking that into consideration by spacing the more shady plants far apart so that these are going to get enough sunlight, but that they're also going to introduce a lot of good features for the soil just by nature of being a root crop. So we're going to plant these at 1/2 inch down, and I'm going to go right here on the right side of the leafy greens. Finally, we have some marigolds here that are really great for pest control. And so we're just going to sprinkle a few marigold seeds in each of these corners. And hopefully that will draw the bad insects out of the garden bed and towards something that we don't really care to harvest. All right, we've planted this bed out. There's a ton of seeds. We'll wait for them to get germinated. And with that in mind, you're going to want to water this bed or whatever bed you're planting out right after you seed it. And then make sure that you're covering it with mulch, maybe even row cover to help that germination process. And so this was our demonstration on intercropping. Thanks for tuning into this video, and we hope to see you again tomorrow.